What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel. This is your hub for everything physical media and entertainment. I am Ken. Today, guys, we are going to be reviewing the 4K UHD edition of Creepshow 2 from Arrow Video. Look at this big, beautiful box set from Arrow Video. I will say, slightly thinner than the normal Arrow Video chunky box, and there is no slipcover over this as well. And I think it might be because they're trying to replicate the exact version of this that came out on Blu-ray back in the day, which I do not have. I do not have that version. So I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm going to be open. I'm going to be honest. Creepshow 2 was my second Arrow Video title that I ever had in the collection. So back in 2016, 2017, that's when I started to notice and get into the boutique labels. And the reason I got into Arrow Video was because I knew Creepshow 2, I knew the movie House. Those are two of my favorite horror films from my childhood. And I ordered them both off of Amazon because it was around the time I was getting back into collecting Blu-rays and all that stuff. And I started to get into 4K as well. And I bought Creepshow 2 and I bought House off of Amazon, just thinking they were regular Blu-rays. And when I got them in, I looked at the side. I was like, what is that? The Arrow Video, what is that? And then I popped it in and I was like, oh, this has like all kinds of special features and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. Yeah, so in a lot of ways, Creepshow 2 was one of my first experiences from Arrow Video with a boutique label. And it was this, it was House, and it was also Silent Night, Deadly Night from Scream Factor. They might have been my first three boutiques in my collection. So I've had this release for quite a long time, but I got into it 2016, 2017. I think this came out in 2016. And I missed out on the box set. And I think at this point, like I probably, if I had the choice, I would have just picked this if I was getting on Amazon. I was like, oh, there's a box set for 35 or just a regular Blu-ray for 18. I would have picked this, back in the day because I wasn't like super into collecting. So why would I get the big chunky box set? But it's always been a big regret of mine. So I've been wanting Arrow Video to re-release this one because I knew they would probably do a similar box set to it for quite some time, and they finally did it. I finally got this. Everybody's been showing this off for years, and I'm always so jealous. I'm like, I want that. I need it. I've got the nice box set of Creepshow back there, the first one on Blu-ray from Scream Factory, and I got the new 4K as well. But I've always wanted the Creepshow 2 4K box set. All right, let's get into Creepshow 2. I've got a controversial opinion, and look, this may come from the fact that I watched this one first, okay? I didn't watch the first Creepshow until about 10 years ago. I grew up with Creepshow 2. For whatever reason, I've got all these like weird gaps because I think my video store just had a lot of the sequels and they didn't have the originals for stuff sometimes. Like that's the only explanation. There's no way I went in there and I saw Creepshow and Creepshow 2 and I just grabbed Creepshow 2. Like it had to have been that was the only option. And that's why I got it. And that's why I've seen a lot of sequels, before the original, like Prom Night 2, I saw before the original because of the same reason. Sleepaway Camp 2, I saw before the original because I think for the same reason. It was in the video store. And that was the only one. There wasn't the first one. Anyway, Creepshow 2, I like this one better than the first. And I think that, and look, I've seen the first one like 3 times, since I watched it for the first time 10 years ago, or maybe 4 times I've seen that one. So I've seen it a good amount. I love the pacing of this one. I think all the stories have a consistent quality to them. There's only 3 in this one. There's 5 in the original Creepshow. I think the original Creepshow is a little bit bloated. I think that the first 3 segments in the original Creepshow are great. If you would have cut it off there, and maybe added one more, maybe still had the crate in there, but trim the crate down because the crate's like 50 minutes. The crate's like as long as the first 3 segments. Trim the crate down to about 30 minutes, slap it on there on top of the first 3. You got a pretty much perfect movie. Maybe I would put the first Creepshow over this one, but because the crate is so incredibly long and bloated, and then you got that final segment, which honestly I'm not a big fan of with all the insects and bugs and stuff. Not a huge fan of that one. I just think that this one's just more enjoyable for me. It's a shorter runtime at 90 minutes. I think The Raft is the clear winner. I think it's the best segment in any of the Creepshow films. It's so like mysterious and haunting and chilling and scary and also just super gnarly and violent and grotesque. And there's so many things in it. Like I remember being scared to death. Like, what is that thing in the water? What is that tar in the water coming at these people? That's so crazy, right? And it's like melting their skin. It's such a great segment, such a great idea. And I believe that I think the story ideas came from Stephen King. But I think the screenplay was George A. Romero in this one. Now he did not direct this one like the first one, but I also like the Hitchhiker one is really cool as well, with some great practical effects, a great story too. And the first one, I didn't always love the first one. I remember I feel like when I was a kid I would skip over it honestly, but I've grown to really like the first segment with the chief, old Chief Woodenhead. That's his name. That's a good segment too. That's a good segment too. So I just think that, and I like the wraparound story with the animated stuff and Tom Savini as the creature ghoul guy is really cool. So for my money, it's Creepshow 2. Creepshow 2 is the best of the two creep shows. And I'm sure there's going to be some people that dispute it with me in the comment section. But I just think overall, just the pacing of this and just the quality and consistency of the stories themselves, just the consistent quality throughout, make this one stand out to me above the first one. Even though there's some great stuff in the first one, and I love the first one as well. I love both the Creepshow films. I love horror anthologies, guys. Let's get into the 4K, guys, because I've been blabbing on enough, about the movies themselves. Let's talk about the 4K here. So this is a brand new 4K restoration from the original negative. You got Dolby Vision, you got HDR10 in this as well. Now, here's the thing. When they did this Blu-ray back in 2016, 2017, I don't guess that they knew where the original negative was, because this is a 2K scan from the inner positive. They didn't have the negative back then. They only had the inner positive. And this Blu-ray, I remember back in the day, because I had only seen the movie on VHS and maybe DVD. I remember this Blu-ray like, holy crap, I've never seen this movie like this before. I remember it being really good when I watched it for the first time. And again, I was almost instantly hooked on Arrow Video and just interested in everything that they were doing after this. So I remember the Blu-ray looking good, but now, having my current setup, that's always important, guys. I've got an OLED TV. I'm not saying you have to have the best TV to enjoy this stuff, but I'm just saying it helps, sometimes with really noticing how big of an upgrade these 4Ks are. So I've got the OLED 65-inch LG TV. And look, like this 4K was pristine. It looked so damn good. And I was like, well, I remember the Blu-ray looking good. And I pop in the Blu-ray and I'm like, oh my goodness, this Blu-ray doesn't age as well as I remember. It's very kind of grainy. Like I feel like this one cleans it up in a good way. Like this one still has a nice grain structure. You can tell it's an actual film, but this one's like overly grainy, overly bright. And just very flat. I talk about this often, but when you add that HDR and that Dolby Vision, it really just livens things up a bit. And adds that depth and really makes you feel like you're almost present with these people in these stories. It just really makes you feel like you're there. Like what you're seeing on screen has such depth. Like you feel like you can reach out and you can touch it. I feel like I could reach out and I could touch that little tar blob monster that's going to melt my hands off. I felt like that when I was watching this on 4K. The 4K is freaking great, guys. It really is. And to me, honestly, and I really hate to do this, like comparing a boutique to a boutique. And you probably have this and you're like, I don't need to upgrade to 4K. This is just fine. And that's fine. To think that way is just fine. Maybe Creepshow 2 is a movie you watch a couple times every 10 years, or maybe a couple times every 20 years, or maybe you think you're going to watch it one more time in your life. Like the Blu-ray's fine. You can watch the Blu-ray and it looks fine. Okay. But this 4K, my God, it's a good looking 4K. It really is a good looking 4K. The beginning, with old Chief Woodenhead, just the up close shots on him is just some incredible detail and coloring. And like even inside the shop, like with the lights, you got some neon light action going on. like it just looks great. It looks pristine, guys. But when you're on that lake and you're on the raft and you see the blob and just the practical effects and people's skin melting off, and the practical effects in the raft is just some of the best, guys. Some of the best in film history, horror movie history. And you want to see that in the best possible picture quality. And it 100% delivers on that. And the Hitchhiker as well has great practical effects that look fantastic with this 4K, such incredible detail. And that's mostly at night. So with that HDR on the Dolby Vision, you can really make out things that you may have never seen before with Creepshow 2. I also think the animated stuff looked really good too on 4K. And I don't feel like it looked as good on this Blu-ray. And I mean, I didn't watch this Blu-ray in its entirety to compare, but I did kind of, scroll through and check out certain scenes and stuff in it to kind of compare it. And it was just a really, I hate to do this, I really do, but it was a really sizable upgrade to me over this Blu-ray. And there's kind of an explanation for that. This is a 2K of an inner positive, which isn't the original material. They got the actual original material here, the original film negative, and they made a great 4K restoration with it. And that at its core, like that is why 4K is the preferred format for people who love film. Because you are getting the movie in its purest form, upgraded and restored to look the best it's ever looked. So I can't say enough great things about Creepshow 2. It really is a fantastic 4K. Now, getting into the sound, guys, you got the DTS HD Master Audio 5.1. You've also got the 2.0, and you got the mono track as well. And I don't believe they did anything new with the sound here. I was comparing the books and the information on the inside, the Blu-ray, the one that's in the Blu-ray and the one that's in the 4K, looks like the same information as far as how they restored the sounds. I think the sound is exactly the same on this 4K. Now let's go ahead and dive into this big, beautiful red box set. Look at this, guys. Look at the artwork. I love that image from the raft right there. Super cool. You also got Tom Savini as the ghoul monster right there, which is awesome. You got Creepshow 2 at the bottom. This is the wraparound J card. So I'll show you the back. You can see the synopsis, all the special features, the specs, casting list right there as well, if I can get my fingers out of the way. And let's take the J card off. You also got Creepshow 2 on the actual box set itself. Let me show you the spine. You got Creepshow 2 on the spine. You got the back right there. And on the inside, you do have a comic, Creepshow Pinfall, A Lost Tale of Horror. And you flip through it, and it's a comic, guys. And I don't know if this is like something from the movie or if it's just a separate story. You've also got George Romero and Stephen King on the back, which is pretty cool. All right, so that's everything in the box set. You have the regular 4K Amaray case on the inside with all the special features on the back. You open it up. You got the disc. You got another booklet on the inside, which I'm pretty sure is the same as what's in your Blu-ray. They just made some slight changes to, obviously the restoration because it's different, that section, but I'm pretty sure all the writing is the same. There was a card in here advertising Wild Style coming to 4K, I guess. But yeah, this is a one disc set, guys. You only have the 4K here. There is no Blu-ray. Look, that is the criticism with Arrow Video, and that is 100% a criticism I can get behind because they really are the only boutique label at this point who does not include a Blu-ray. I mean, Scream Factory still includes a Blu-ray, Kino Lorber, Criterion, also Vinegar Syndrome. I mean, most of the major boutique labels still have a Blu-ray. Arrow Video does not. So that is something you can criticize them for. I do think that that's often reflected in the price point because these will stay pretty affordably priced at about $32, $35. A lot of times they'll come out and then they'll drop even more than that. But again, I know a lot of people have a problem with that because you want to have the Blu-ray, you want to have the 4K. Now, if you already got the Blu-ray, then you already got the Blu-ray, but at the same time, you got to keep this, and maybe you can do a customizable thing where you add this to that, but that can get a little bit annoying, I know. But yeah, so we did the flippable, reversible artwork right there. You got the original poster for Creepshow 2, which I think is freaking awesome. The Creepshow in the theater, freaking cool as hell. Now, diving into the special features here, guys, there's a lot of great features here. The only issue is that there's nothing new. They're all the same features that were present on this Blu-ray right here. So you get nothing new in terms of special features, which I always have to call out as kind of a negative, especially since Aero Video has had a track record recently with titles like Cruisin', and there was another one that I can't think of off the top of my head, but there's been a couple of Aero Video titles recently where I feel like they've added new stuff to their 4K upgrades, and I've been a fan of that, and was hoping that they were starting to go in that. Oh, The Stuff was another one. They added stuff to that one. I was hoping that they were starting to go in that direction, but it seems like every time it feels like they're going in that direction, they pull back and they give us a release like Creepshow 2 with nothing new added here. So, you know, I just think it's always good to add something new. It's just extra incentive to do these upgrades other than just the picture quality. And you do have the audio commentary here with the director, Michael Gornick. You've also got Poncho's Last Ride, an interview with Daniel Beer, The Road to Dover, an interview with actor Tom Wright, screenplay for a sequel, an interview with screenwriter George A. Romero, Tales from the Creep, an interview with actor and makeup artist Tom Savini, Nightmares in Foam Rubber, an archive featurette on the special effects of Creepshow 2. And then you got my friend Rick, Howard Berger on his special effects mentor, Rick Baker. So a lot of good stuff here, guys, a lot of archival stuff. And you got all the same features here that were on the Blu-ray. They're great features. They're great features. I mean, the one with George A. Romero is freaking awesome that you got that on here for sure. But it's just, you know, at this point, guys, you're going to do these upgrades. It's just not enough to simply upgrade it, because if you had this back in the day, and you had this box set and everything, and you had all this stuff, the booklet and all that, like, you're just upgrading for the picture quality, which is great picture quality, but I like to see a little something extra to incentivize those that maybe had this back in the day, and you want something new to kind of pique your interest a little bit in a Creepshow 2 box set. Again, you're getting all the same stuff. You might as well get some new features with it. But overall, guys, when it comes to recommending Creepshow 2, I think it's a great release. And if you don't have this Blu-ray, it's 100% a recommendation. But if you do have the Blu-ray, the fact that you're not getting much new here in terms of features and even new packaging makes it a harder sell, I know, to some people. So really, it just comes down to how much does that uptick in picture quality, which is great, mean to you as a film fan, as a fan of Creepshow 2, as a physical media enthusiast. What does that mean to you? And then make your own decision on whether or not you should get this at the end of the day. But thank you all so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on those bell notifications for all future videos, and follow me on all my social media accounts. Those links are down below in the description, and we'll see you next time.